Ever wondered how a tiny human nestled inside the womb receives oxygen and nutrients? This intricate process, known as fetal circulation, is a fascinating dance of biology and nature's engineering. So buckle up as we delve into the world of fetal circulation. Fetal circulation begins with the umbilical cord, a lifeline that connects the fetus to the placenta. This cord houses one umbilical vein and two umbilical arteries. Initially, the umbilical cord has two arteries and two veins. By the 12th week of fetal life, as the umbilical cord matured, the right vein gets obliterated, so you can say the left umbilical vein is left behind. The umbilical vein carries oxygenated blood rich in nutrients from the placenta to the fetus. This blood bypasses the liver thanks to a special shunt known as the ductus venosus and is funneled into the inferior vena cava, landing in the right atrium of the heart. Here's where it gets interesting. Unlike in adults, in a fetus, the heart's right and left atrium communicate through an opening called the foramen ovale. This allows blood to flow from the right atrium to the left atrium, then via the mitral opening into the left ventricle, and finally into the aorta, which distributes the oxygenated blood throughout the body. Meanwhile, the right ventricle of the fetal heart pumps the blood that is 15 to 20% less saturated with oxygen compared to the left ventricle into the pulmonary artery. But remember, in fetal life, lungs are collapsed and the resistance in pulmonary arteries is very high. So, most of this blood bypasses the lungs and enters the descending aorta through a shunt called the ductus arteriosus. This means that, astonishingly, the lungs are bypassed as 90% of the blood enters the descending aorta. The deoxygenated blood, now depleted of oxygen and nutrients, returns to the placenta via the two umbilical arteries, repeating this remarkable cycle. And just to put things into perspective, the cardiac output of the fetus is a whopping 350 milliliters per kilogram per minute. But what happens when the baby is born and takes its first breath? Well, the whole system undergoes a swift and dramatic transformation. The umbilical arteries and vein close, as does the ductus arteriosus and the foramen ovale. The ductus venosus collapses and venous pressure of the IVC falls. After obliteration, umbilical vein forms the ligamentum teres. The ductus venosus becomes the ligamentum venosum. The ductus arteriosus transforms into the ligamentum arteriosus, and the foramen ovale leaves a small depression known as the fossa ovalis. Closure of foramen ovale is due to the decreased pressure in the right atrium and an increased pressure in left atrium as the lungs become functionally active. Prostaglandin E2 is continuously produced locally in the ductus arteriosus by COX-2 during fetal life and keeps it patent. At birth, PGE2 synthesis stops and closure occurs. Prostaglandin antagonists like aspirin and indomethacin induce closure when it fails to occur spontaneously in case of a condition known as patent ductus arteriosus. Conversely, in neonates with congenital heart defects, natural PGE1 called alprostadil is used to maintain patency of ductus arteriosus till corrective surgery is performed. Interestingly, the timing of functional closure and anatomical closure varies among these structures. With these changes, the newborn's cardiac output increases to 500 milliliters per kilogram per minute. Quite an upgrade, wouldn't you say? So, there you have it, the incredible journey of fetal circulation. From the umbilical cord to the heart's chambers, and from the lungs to the placenta, this complex process ensures the survival and growth of a fetus, preparing it for the moment when it takes its first breath in the world. It's a testament to the breathtaking sophistication of biology and an awe-inspiring example of nature's engineering prowess.